I'm just about to set up the stopwatch here to give you a live demo of how to integrate my AI publisher suite with Royalty Profits AI, but I want to show you how my journey is going since I've started putting this system together. This is the first book that I've published as a part of this new strategy I've put together for putting together novels. Now the key difference here is that novels people generally tend to read more of. It's not really like a reference book or a skills book or an information book. People will typically look at novels as something where they get absorbed into a story. And as you can see, I published this book here on October 24th, and my model here is that I want people to download this book for free, and then as they're reading through the pages, I want to get paid a royalty. So it has been 4 days. Today's date is October 28th, Tuesday, October 28th, 2025, and I want to take you over here to my Kindle Direct Publishing. You can see this is the only book that I have here, From Tycoon to Terror, and I have made $1.67 so far in, $1.68 according to this, in estimated royalties here, with 278 pages read. So that book is the only book I have on my bookshelf. It's only been up for 4 days, but because it's a novel, it's something where people kind of want to learn more about the story. They want to see how the characters develop, and they want to see, in this case of this particular book, how it ties into real life. So let me jump in now. I want to share with you a demo where I'm going to integrate Royalty Profits AI with my AI Publisher Suite. I'm going to show you how simple it is to put together a full novel outline and the full details you need inside all my bonuses to actually go and write a book just like this, which was put together with my bonuses, including the awesome cover that you see here for this book. Let's go and take a look. Now in just a moment, I'm going to start this stopwatch that you see over here. This is going to be on screen the entire time. The reason I'm leaving that up there is because as we're making my way through this process, I'm going to fast forward the video, obviously, since I don't want to waste your time, and this stopwatch is going to be here to kind of be the actual reference point for how long it's taking. So what I want to do in this demo is show you, beginning from absolute scratch, I have no idea what this book is going to be about. We're going to hit on Plan My AI Novel. We're going to start the stopwatch, and I'm going to go through and show you the entire process, and then I'll even show you how to take all that and use it to create some of those beautiful covers that you might have seen in my review video. This is another example of one of the covers that I have worked on here. This is also going to be part of my bonuses. You're going to get my entire prompt, which shows you how to create really, really beautiful book covers. I'm a little biased because obviously I created them, but I do think these book covers look really, really good for a 60-second prompt you can go and drop into ChatGPT or any sort of image creation tool that you want. This is a new book cover I'm working on for one of my newest books, which is going to be published on my bookshelf sometime this week, and it's called The Coin Shop Killer. This is one version. As you can see, it's a kind of dark and gritty noir looking sort of a cover. This is another version, exact same book, but I'm just kind of torn between which one I want to go with, and this one is obviously a lot more kind of cinematic. It feels like more like a movie poster. So let's go ahead and get started here. I'm going to click on the start button for the stopwatch and hit Plan My AI Novel, and this is going to go and get us started. Now the very first step here is it's going to go and take a look at what series we want to create, and this is preloaded with 12 different series which are evergreen. They're based on themes that people are always looking for, and it's generally something that has a lot of interest. People continue to return to it. And it'll give us a breakdown here of the idea. Now again, just for the sake of brevity, I'm going to go ahead and read this while doing a little bit of editing to kind of fast forward our way through. So in this case, I was pretty happy with the series that it suggested, which was The Conspirators. So I just went ahead and typed in the letter A just to go and confirm this is the series that I want to use to go and start my journey. And now it's going to produce 5 different story seeds. And these are basically reference points from real world that are to do with the conspirators. And it's going to start to turn it into the idea for a potential novel. So we have a couple of options here. I'll go and see which one I want, and then I'll report back to you. All right, so I've gone ahead and selected number 4 right here, the vanishing algorithm. Now, this doesn't have to be the title of the book, but as you can see here, the reference, the real world anchor, kind of bringing the story details together, is inspired by whistleblower Edward Snowden and the disappearance of encryption pioneers. So that's basically the idea, and then it fictionalizes that into a hook that we can use for our novel. So a hacker collective leaks proof that every deleted message worldwide is stored in a subterranean server city. When their leader vanishes mid-live stream, the surviving coder must navigate digital traps where AI guardians defend state secrets. Each server room becomes a moral test about transparency and survival. So it definitely sounds like it's something kind of interesting. It sounds like we're going for kind of a pseudo sci-fi feel for this storyline. So I've gone ahead and selected this is the one that I wanted to use. And now it's asking me for a book preparation. This is where we start to integrate Royalty Profits AI. And one thing that the prompt here automatically does is it gives me all of the settings I need to go and input into Royalty Profits. So let me pop open Royalty Profits right here, and let me go and create a book that uses these settings you see right here. So at this point, I've gone ahead and started to create my book with Royalty Profits AI. That process is basically just copy and pasting this information here that's already been created by my prompt. And just while it's generating the book, you can see it's given us some ideas for different author identities that we can use as a pen name. It's also given us a few different titles that we can use for the novel, but I'm quite fond of the vanishing algorithm, so I'm just going to go ahead and use that. It's also given us some context about what the book needs to be about inside Royalty Profits AI. And then you can also see we have some additional settings inside of Royalty Profits AI, which are pre-selected here by my custom GPT. So literally, we just use this as the map, and we use this to go and produce the book that we see right here. And then, as you can see at the very bottom of this prompt, it says, once you've created and downloaded the research book from Royalty Profits AI, please upload it here so I can read it and continue to step 4. And that's where it's basically going to take that overall content from Royalty Profits, and we're going to start to turn it into the structure that builds out this dossier. So the entire world, the characters, all of the different chapter outlines, that's all going to be created based on what Royalty Profits puts together for us. So I'm going to go ahead and wait for this to finish, and then we'll continue. All right, so there we go. We have put together our first little version of our manuscript here. I'm going to go and just open this up, and now I'll go and take a look here at the book preview. Now the cover, if there is one cover that's going to be produced, that's not going to be the final cover, since I like to use my prompt, which we'll take a look at a little bit later. And this is where we have a breakdown of how the content for the book actually looks. So at this point, I'm just going to go and flick through to make sure that it has the general information that I want to be kind of the spine for building out a story for my own novel. All right, so this looks like a great reference. It's got all the major information that I want. It even has some sample case studies from Cambridge Analytica and from Amazon and Apple scandals in the past. This has really everything I need to create a really good spine to go and create my novel. So now I'm going to go ahead and download this as a PDF and upload it here to my novel planner. All right, so now I've gone ahead and uploaded my PDF, and that's now going to serve as helpful in putting together a plot based on all that research that's been done by the educational book put together by Royalty Profits AI. So now we have that. It's going to continue on to our next step, which is accepting that framework and making sure that it's all readable. Now we're ready to move on, so I'm just going to go ahead and say yes, and now it's going to go and start working on turning that framework that we've created into an outline for the actual novel. So now the bot is taking that information and it's trying to build some sort of plot structure out of all that information produced by Royalty Profits AI. And the way it's going to do that is by reaching into its database of different plot structures, which is also provided as a separate cheat sheet that you'll have access to in the bonus members area. And this is going to pull out 2 plot structures that might be a good fit for the overall genre, theme, and story that we're trying to build here. So in this case, it suggested option A, the 3-act cinematic thriller, very classic to have some sort of book or movie in sort of 3 acts. And then we have option B down here, the 4-act investigative suspense arc. Now this sounds a little bit more like what it is that I'm looking for in this sort of a book. So in this case, I'm going to go down here and select option B. At this point, we're starting to put together some ideas about what the overall plot is going to be like. So if I want, I can read through acts 1, 2, 3, and 4 here. And if I see something that I don't like, or I want to change the structure of the plot, this is the point where I would do that. But everything looks fine, so I'm going to choose option B. And we can move on to the next step. So at this point, it started to put together the world-building blueprint for our storyline based on the plot structure that I've selected. I haven't prompted it to do this. This is just the next step of the process. And here it's gone through and put together a genre detection about what sort of genre the novel's actually going to be about. And now it's starting to build out the world summary, the core settings, key locations and environments, supporting micro settings where the characters might meet, some objects, tools, and artifacts that are important within the story, some occupations and routines of the main characters, how people actually get around, the sensory and atmospheric details, some cultural and emotional layers. As you can see, it goes pretty deep into all this data. And before it moves on to the next step, I'm actually going to ask it to expand even further to go into more detail about that world building. This is going to help put together a really extensive dossier that we can use to go and write the prose for the novel later. So now that it's put together the expanded world blueprint, it's asked if I want to move on to the next step, which is the character architecture. And again, I don't need to input anything or select character names. I just said yes, and now it's starting to work on the character architecture for the main characters and any supporting characters. Now, while it's doing that, I'm actually going to go ahead and just grab all the information it just output as part of that expanded world building document. I'm going to just go and take this and put together a new document over here inside of Google Docs, which is going to include this information. That's part of my overall dossier. So in the time that I've just copied that over into a Word document, it's also created our character architecture. So again, I'm just going to go to the bottom of this output here, and it's going to ask me, do I want to move on to the next step, which is the narrative roadmap. So again, I'm going to go ahead and say yes, and now it's going to work on the next step right here. So as that's happening, I'm also going to go and, same as before, just copy all this information here about the character architecture, and we're going to go and put that into another Word document. All right, so at this point, it's gone ahead and output the narrative roadmap. Now, this is the breakdown of the structure of the acts. So this is a 4-act suspense. So we have Act 1, and then we have a breakdown Chapter 1, and we have a little overview of what would go into Chapter 1. This isn't really written with any style to it. It's just a very cold sort of overview of what's included in this chapter. And this roadmap is helpful for the next step, which is going to be writing more of a cinematic feel for how each chapter could actually sound and read like as the reader's going through the novel. So in this case, it's actually, would you like me adjust the pacing or anything here, or shall we move to step 9? Let's say yes, step 9, which is going to be the chapter outline. In the meantime, while it's working on the chapter outline, I'm just going to go ahead here and, again, same as before, just literally copy and paste that overall narrative roadmap, and I'm just going to go ahead and save this now. All right, so at this point, it's gone ahead and put together the synopsis. So this kind of reads through in a more cinematic way what the chapters are actually going to sound like. So we can see here, Chapter 1 is called The Audit. It has an opening image here to give us an idea of how the actual chapter is going to be framed. And then we have a little breakdown of what's going to be happening. Miravale conducts a data integrity scan inside Helix Tower. Every surface reflects her, precise and sterile. When her console highlights an impossible code reference, her pulse quickens. The word feels alive. Later, while reviewing logs, she notices a recording of her own voice whispering the same term. The office lights dim, as if listening. Now, this is one thing that I would probably go and change a little bit when it comes to the overall structure of how this is written. I think that maybe I could change the tone of how this is written, but all that comes down to here when we upload all that information into the RPAI novel writer. So I'm going to come over here and just save this chapter synopsis that you see right here. This is the last output. And if we come back over to the novel planning GPT, and we scroll all the way down, it says our novel plan is now 100% complete. So what I can do at this point is just literally go and save this here. And now that we have our novel complete and we've created all 4 parts of that really important dossier, I can now upload them here to the novel writer to start putting together the prose. But what I'm going to do right now instead is actually show you how the covers come together for the output. So when we're looking to do the overall front cover that's going to go on Amazon, let me show you how that works using those 4 elements that I've just created. So to do that, I'm going to start up a new chat, and we're going to go ahead and drop in my master prompt. So all I've done at this point is just paste in my master cover prompt, and I've uploaded those 4 different elements as PDFs. The character architecture, the roadmap, the outline, all that stuff has just been uploaded. And now it's putting together basically a 1-page summary that you'd use if you were trying to shop this story around. So we have a breakdown of the tone and genre, we have the overall premise of what the story is about, and now from this document here, as you can see at the bottom, it says, would you like to confirm this 1-pager? Let's go ahead and confirm, and now it's going to go and create 5 ideas for our cover based on those 4 elements that we've created inside of the planning tool. So I've taken a look at the 5 ideas for the cover concepts, and I think number 1 looks the best. So I'm going to go ahead and select that one here. And now it's going to expand that into more of a prompt that it can leverage to go and create an image. So we'll see what it comes up with here. Sometimes you might need to make a change. Sometimes the first output is really good. I'll let you know how this performs once it's all generated. All right, so we have our first output for the book cover, and I actually think this looks pretty good. The vanishing algorithm, a psychological tech thriller, and then you'd have your your author name at the bottom. My author name is Benedict Tellman, but you could use whatever you might prefer. And overall, I think that looks pretty good. I mean, I don't think I'd actually want to make any changes to that. We've got the little bit of code in the background, the little glass smash here. Overall, I think that looks pretty good. So I would go ahead and use this now as my cover, but if I wasn't happy with it, I could go and make changes to it or suggest one of these other concepts. I generally find with this master prompt for covers, you get a pretty good output in generally the first 2 or 3 outputs. You're going to find the direction that you like, or you're going to find the style that you like, and I'm pretty happy with this overall. So at this point, we have everything that we need to actually go and write the prose, the actual words for the novel, and that's the easiest part of all. Literally, all we do is choose the tone inside of the novel writer, and it'll start to output our book. I just wanted to show you through this demo how we can go and leverage Royalty Profits AI and how all the elements of my bonuses inside the AI Publisher Suite all come together. So inside my full bonuses, you get the full blueprint where I walk through everything inside detail. This has just been a quick over-the-shoulder version of everything that we get. And actually, now's a good point to go and stop this. This is at 32 minutes for the overall timer. We should take off about 4 minutes. That's how long I had to wait for Royalty Profits to generate my book. And then also just kind of talking to the camera and explaining what I'm doing has generally slowed this down a little bit. In general, I'd say you could do absolutely everything that I've just gone through, including the cover, all parts of the dossier, the character architecture, everything like that, in about 22 minutes. So you could take off about 10 minutes here, about 30% of this time for just me explaining things and me just waiting for some of the outputs to come through. If we take a look here at the bonuses, you're also going to get the architect's framework for the story. If you don't want to use my ChatGPT custom bot, you can obviously go ahead and use this to write your own stories. You also get the Novel Planner GPT, which you just saw me use, and the Novel Writer GPT, which is what puts together the prose, the actual words of your novel for you. You get the cheat sheet that has all of the trending books. You get the quick start checklist that you see here. We get the KDP formatting checklist. We get the AI cover prompt generator here, and we get our royalty progress journal. So you get everything absolutely included, whether you choose the basic or the commercial lights for Royalty Profits AI. Go ahead and click down below, click the button to go watch my full review if you want to see the details of everything and how I've started my journey to go and become an Amazon author. Hopefully this demo has been helpful for you and has answered some of those top and most popular questions I've received. Hope you have a great day, and I hope you decide to join me on this publisher experience. It's been pretty cool so far, and I really can't wait to see where this goes. Have a great day.